Hey guys, Mel the Train Tutor here again with another foam board building tutorial for you. Now you may recognise this from my video on quick box builds, more commonly known as Epic Fail. I'll throw a link up to the video if you haven't seen it, but it's basically a really quick video on how to put these sort of buildings together really quickly. Okay, but these are good for just getting terrain on your tabletop, but let's be honest, yeah, they are a box. That's it. Okay, and we can do better. Now, you don't need specialist hobby materials or anything like that, specialist tools. Yeah, you just need a couple of simple techniques and a couple of simple ideas. So that's what we're going to cover first. Now, so what we're going to do to it? Well, we're going to dress it up. We're going to apply depth in design. We're going to do some beveling and that sort of stuff. And we're going to transform it. So, shall we get started? Now, the first thing I want to do is give it a base. Yeah, now, no MDF, no cake boards, just simple foam board. Yeah. Now, you may say, but this stuff isn't brilliant for basing boats. Well, it isn't, to be truthful. And I need a pencil. Yeah, it isn't. But there's a few simple techniques you can use, and if you apply those techniques, it works quite well. So, first things first. Yeah, when you're doing bases on these, what you want is a very short base. The longer it is, yeah, away from a support or whatever, the more fragile it gets. So if it's quite thin, the gap it's going to go over, it's quite tough. So that's the trick to using foam board to making bases. Don't go far, don't make wide bases with it, keep it nice and short. Now this card is a little bit warped, it's not a problem. Never is, it's never a problem. Right, so all I'm going to do is quickly mark out roughly there. I know the building is on this side there, and it's going to come to about there. So if I turn that round, you can see that I've done, yeah, 3 simple marks, and all I'm going to do is sort of do that, yeah, to there, and bring that round to there, and there's our base. And then if I put that on there, I'm probably going to need to trim that back a bit, but that's not a problem. What do you reckon? Good? I think so. So let's cut it out. Oh, I can hear my mother and my wife chatting in the room, in the kitchen. They're making cakes. Cakes. Alright, so just quickly cut this out. Yeah, and it is a rough cut. I'm not really overly concerned about it. Yeah, and there's our base. Yeah, now the next thing I'm going to do is, because I don't want the hard edge 5mm, I'm just going to bevel all round it. Okay, so probably boots of speed for this one. When it comes to beveling, it's just a simple matter of running your blade, and remember, these are sharp, just across the edge, just to take the edge off. So, boots of speed. Oh, someone's at the door. Right, back in a minute, guys. Sorry, guys, it looks like we've got tree surgeons working on a tree outside. So if you can hear a chainsaw in the background, that's what's going on. And if you hear Ozzy barking, well, obviously, he's doing his don't you come near my house thing. So anyway, back to this beveling. Right, so there we have it. Very quickly. Ah, look at that mess. Lovely, lovely mess. Okay, so here's a building, here's a base. Yeah, and as you can see, if I fit it on, yeah, the base, ooh, let me just trim that a little bit more. Because this is the front after all. Maybe a bit too much there. Ooh, what have you done? It's not a fail though. I refuse to accept that as a fail. Because it isn't. Because I say it isn't. Right, there we go. I keep doing that. So, there's our nice bevel base. Yeah, curved corners. Next thing, we put our building on it. Now obviously I've got to trim this back a bit. I knew that and mentioned that before, but as you can see, it's going to fit on that rather well. So let's quickly trim this bit back. Yeah. So foam board base, foam board building to go on base. Okay, so the next job is obviously we need to glue this down. Now for the gluing, I am using my PVA as standard. Put it there so you can see it. Yeah, and also pins to keep so it keeps it nice and straight. Obviously you don't need the pins, you can just glue it and leave it, but if I use the pins, then not only can I carry on building while it dries. That sounds very watery. Right, so that is effectively in place. Okay, and my next job I've got to do is just very quickly pin it. Yeah, so pushing those bits in there, that's all I've done, and then all I need to do is just secure this one in. Yeah, because if you remember, there's PVA under there as well. So we'll go like that. And I'm not worried about these holes or anything like that. Don't worry about them. We can cover them up with a bit of gravel and PVA later. Now you notice this floor is broken. Okay, that's because I got this blade and I sort of skimmed it along there because I'd set it wrong before. I needed it set right for the next bit of the tutorial. So, there we go. So they're all in. Okay, and that's all sturdy. What I want to do very quickly now is with this little bit, let's see if we can add a few little details to it. So there, I reckon. And what you'll see what I'm doing now. Basically, all I'm doing here is sort of integrating this into the floor, so it doesn't look like there's just one piece. Yeah, by just getting a couple of little offcuts. I'm going to put a little one here. And there we have the floor done. So that's how to add a really easy foam board base to it. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on adding some supports and buttresses. So I am going to leave this to dry for just a couple of minutes while I prep the next bit. And all I'm basically going to be doing is cutting what you call it 1/2-inch strips out of this bit of foam board. So I'm going to come back right in a minute once I've done these. Okay guys, I've cut out a load of foam board strips, 1/2 inch wide, and we're going to use these as buttresses to sort of build up the front and give it some depth. The process is called depth in design, or depth in design, not design in depth. And basically the idea is it gives us shadows and contours to the front of the building, and it gives us something to paint dirt into and something to catch it when we're over brushing and dry brushing it. So load of 1/2-inch strips and a couple of sort of wider ones for this corner. So we'll do the corner first, and then I can just crack on with doing the batoning. So I'm going to pull some pins out. I'm just going to pull the pins out I need to pull out. Okay, and I've got two pieces here that I've sort of pre-measured. And the idea is that one will go there. Yeah, and one will go there. And that will give us our corner piece. So let's get that done quick, yeah? So PVA glue on. Yeah, a bit around the top actually. A little squidge at the bottom so it can join with the foam board base. Yeah, so just like that, loads of PVA, loads. And this one, because it's the shorter one, is going to line up with the sort of facade of the building. Yeah, and this is a bit old foam board, so it isn't completely straight or whatever, but that's not a problem at all. Right, pins. Oh, someone set Aussie off. It's full of disturbances today, but I carry on regardless. So push one pin in there to hold the bottom. I come up to the top where it's a little bit more wiggly. And I'm dropping my pins. Yeah, get it lined up how you want it. And put another pin in at quite a sort of steep angle, because that'll keep that pressed against the side there. Hopefully. Yeah. And then very quickly, just a bit of corner. Yeah, where you see the foam board running. Let's smooth that out a bit. There you go. And you've got a little on there as well. We can rub that in with our finger. Okay, next one, the fatter one, and this is going to go here. Sort of meet those points. And yes, I know it overlaps on the base and all that sort of stuff. Don't worry, guys. Stop panicking. Yeah, so once again, PVA on. Yeah, I need a special line along there because that's where it's going to be joining. That bit. And a little bit on the bottom. Come on, PVA. There we go. So that's going to go in there. Yeah, so as you can see, yeah. And then this goes on here. And the important thing is just lining up this corner so it's nice and neat. This is where we find out our other one was positioned wrong. And we need to readjust. Right, so the top one first on this, because that's an easy line up. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. Need a fez. Fezzes are cool. Yeah, and then I need to push this one in. So another pin from my little pin deck. Yeah, that's in. Nice and tight. Now, if you look very carefully, you'll notice I've got a crack there, a little gap. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is very quickly pull this bottom pin out. Yeah, slide this up to meet it, so it's nice and tight, and then put my pin back in. And then just run my finger across there, just running some PVA. And get that. There we go. Yeah, so that's the first sort of buttress done. You can start to see how it's starting to add a shadow. Okay, stick with me, guys. Now what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm just simply going to go along and add these to the front. Yeah, willy-nilly, so to speak, in between the windows. Oh! Oops. Okay, guys, that's all the external buttressing done. I've made a little minor error and I've cut that a little too wide, but no biggie, no major biggie. Yeah, I didn't notice until I put them all together. But as you can see, all the buttresses are glued on and it's starting to add a little bit more interest to it. Obviously, when you do it, put a little bit more planning and measuring into it, guys. It's been one of those days today. Right, so the buttresses, what I've also done is I've cut them in half, okay? Now, I've got these measurements basically from the gap between the floor and the base, the original base, and the first floor. Now normally I would do this before putting the first floor in, so I can rest the first floor on them, but because this was the quick build, yeah, the floor's already in. In fact, it's barely in, so let's take that out. So take that floor out quickly. Yeah, so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put these buttresses sort of on the inside. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to run them all the way around on the inside. So guys, those are the buttresses in. The next job is literally just put a dab of PVA on top of each buttress. Yeah. Then re-get the floor. Oh, let me just clean that edge up, otherwise it's not going to go in. That's where I cut it off. Yeah, and very quickly, just while I'm here, I might as well just bevel this edge because it'll save time a little later. And then very quickly, come on, off you get. Run a bit of PVA along there. Can you hear those women rabbiting? Cake baking. Better be cake for me. I hope they turn out all right as well, ladies. Right, so I'm going to push this in here. Well, would you look at that? Obviously. She does listen. Right, push that in there, get that level. That's better. Square these up a bit, give them a wiggle. I haven't pinned these yet, so, and I might not pin them. That's okay. Yeah. So there you have it. Now, obviously, we've got a bit of a buttress here. There's another little bit of one there. So let's see what we can do with that. That bit will do. Yeah, rip that off, rip that off. Sort of a tutorial come quick build, this one, isn't it? Hope you don't mind, guys. I've just seen the best way of actually showing you what you can do with this sort of stuff and how easy it is just to create some wonderful effects. Yeah, and then all I'm going to do is quickly a bit of PVA there, a bit of PVA there, and wiggle this in here to sort of extend that floor with a crack in it. Yeah, that'll do. I can probably do the same over there, to be truthful. Yeah, but I'll only just do something very quickly. Yeah, and then finally, with our remaining buttresses, what we're going to do is we're going to continue these columns. So we're going to go from there, we're going to put these on top of here to come up here. Like I say, don't worry about these bits sticking out. We'll sort those out once all the glue is dried. Yeah, and it's just literally a simple matter of plonking them on, and then we'll give them a little wiggle once they're all on. Boots of speed. So guys, there you have it. That's the foam board bits done. So we've added more of an interesting floor, we've added a base to it, we've added the actual supports for the floor and the buttressing, we've added the columns at the front, and straight away it's looking like a far more interesting build. Now what I need to do is just let this PVA dry a bit before I move on to the next stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a halt on the video here, guys, and I'll see you once this PVA is dry. See you in a minute, guys. Right guys, I'm back from doing the school run. It's 95% dry. If you notice, I have just sort of had a quick trim down of that to get it, because it was doing my head in. And that looks a lot better, lots better. Right, final details, okay, with this foam board build. Right, I want to put a doorstep in, because I forgot about it earlier. I should have done that earlier, but it's not going to affect anything we do now, so let's just push that in there. Look okay. There you go, and that's a doorstep in. Yeah, there's a little gap underneath it, but we'll sort that in a little while when we go around and texture it. Right, the next thing to do is obviously to cut these buttresses off now they've dried. And this isn't hard. Yeah, all you need to do is come along with your blade. And these extendable blades, the snapping ones, are great for this because you can extend it into a large blade. Yeah, and literally, yeah, just go along and cut them off like that. I'll leave that one for a minute. It's always best to hold these or do it while they're still pinned, to be truthful. Now all I'm doing right now is just getting the bulk of them off. Now that's still wet actually from where I've re-glued it, where I cut it off and re-glued it, so I need to hold on to that a bit better. Now, as you can see, what we've done is we've taken the bulk of them down. Straight away you can see, you know, how much better that looks as a building. Ignore that, guys, it can be painted over. Yeah. Okay, next job is to sort of bevel these edges. One of the telltale giveaways for for foam core builds is this typical sort of hard edge with, you know, the two little lips of cardboard that you normally get. So all we're going to do is, see that's moving. Right, now just 1 second, guys. Let me repin this while I work on it. That's better. And all I'm basically doing is coming along and at an angle, yeah, just trimming the edges and beveling them off. So you're probably going to see boots of speed now. So there you go, guys. That's it. Simple additions with foam board, adding a base, adding the support columns, adding a bit more rubble, you know, and hey presto, that's what you've got. Just let me take these out because it spoils the effects. Now, We started with basically that, and we ended up with that. Okay, and this is still a relatively simple build. There's nothing special about this. There's nothing crazy. It's not overly detailed. Yeah, and the good thing about these sort of projects is that a lot of these are sort of mass produced. You know, all these columns are the same, so you can literally just bang a load of them together. And when you're doing these box builds, you know, it's not that much time to do something a hell of a lot better, guys. You know what I mean? Now, this build took no extra materials, no extra skills, no extra tools than this build did. So why build these when you can build these? Right, guys, let me go cameras up. Hello. Oh, look at that bright light. It's not good. There's the top of his head there. There I am. Little wonky there, guys. Hello. Ooh, bright light. Sorry about the glare, guys, but I'm only saying goodbye. Right, so that was improving your basic builds with Formboard. We're going to come back and we're going to do other stuff soon. I'm going to be showing you some funky stuff with lollipop sticks and cocktail sticks and things like that. So, DM Scotty, I'm coming for you. Coming for you. Yeah. Anyway, guys, listen. Dead easy techniques to improve your buildings, and it's not that much more effort. Yeah, there's other stuff coming on with these buildings, improving them even more. You'll see that coming real soon, guys. In the meantime, I've got the kids at home, the wife's making a cake, there's loads to do. Subscribe, comment, you know, all that sort of stuff, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys. All the best. Ta-ra.